Hello, let's talk snail mail today. So we are used to all of these boring envelopes full of bills popping through our doors. Today, most things are maybe sent electronically, so we don't have the same things as generations past of enjoying opening a letter from a loved one or a card, etc. So let's change that, and while we're at it, let's make our envelopes a piece of artwork too. Should we get started? So here is a Pinterest board that I created forever ago with ideas for envelope art, and I have never made an envelope. Well, actually, I've made one. So it's something I've definitely wanted to explore for a long time and never got round to doing. And quite often when it comes to the Dawn and Julia Creates, we take things like that. They're almost like on our crafty bucket list because we know by setting it as a challenge we'll finally do it. So that is what I have done with this particular challenge. As you can see, we've pulled out 3 envelopes today. I've got this little square craft one, I have got one with a window in it, and a normal envelope as well. For this craft one, I've just started off with putting a little bit of gesso down. That's going to create a little bit of an area to be able to write the address once we've finished. And then I've got some acrylic paints that I'm just applying with my finger to create a painterly look. So I'm now going with a contrasting colour and I'm just stippling that pink in through a stencil, and that is going to give us our element of design for this particular envelope. When I did it, it wasn't quite as clear as I expected it to turn out, so I've gone back in with the stencil and my black pen and I'm just sort of drawing through the stencil and getting some of those details back. So that we can kind of see them a lot better. Once I'd done that, I was much happier with the overall look. I applied the exact same technique on the back of the envelope. Again, I've gone a little bit crazier on the back of the envelope because we didn't have to save room for the address, so there's a lot more detail on that, so I really like that. I think it's quite fun. And then, as always, I have just finished it off by running my black pen around all the edges, and that is this envelope complete. I have seen Dawn make envelopes quite a lot. She's very good at that sort of thing. I'm not. So I'm really intrigued as to see whether she will use a pre-done envelope or whether she will make her own. But I'm not sure that I've seen her sort of decorate envelopes quite so much. So I'm very interested to see what she actually does. So do pop across to Dawn's channel after you have finished off here. So for this particular envelope, I decided I would just do lots of doodling on it. So I grabbed my pencil because I wasn't overly confident to start with pen, and I just sort of doodled in some random bits and pieces. Originally I'd sort of had this idea that would Zentangle it all, but then being me, it sort of ended up in a quirky scene. So yeah, with lots of edges. So I had a quirky scene in the middle, and then I've got a detailed edge around the edge of the envelope, and then I'm going to put a detailed edge in around the window as well. So I was very just freestyling this. It's not my best artwork, I have to say, but it was fun. I just kind of got lost in the process. So I went over it again with black pen and then coloured in some of the details, and then we have that second one done here. So the next one, what I wanted to do is to again make sure that we have room for an address to be written. So I've just put some post-it notes down to create a bit of a mask and work from there. So I'm just adding a bit of distress ink. In hindsight, that was a bad idea because, you know, if it goes through UK post, once the rain hits that, the ink's going to go everywhere. So I would recommend that you maybe use like a VersaFine or something like that. That's a permanent ink. So this one will have to be hand delivered, I think, but for future reference I'll maybe use a different type of ink, but the principles still work the same. So I've grabbed a stencil to put a little bit of floral detail in, and now I'm picking out my, I think this is mustard seed, and I'm just popping a few leaves in as well, just to build up the detail surrounding the actual mount that we have for the address. So I've tried to go for 3 different styles in the various envelopes, so just so we can try different approaches. As I said, this is something I've wanted to do for a long time but never really tackled myself, so I'm by no means an expert in envelope art, but I did enjoy it and I think it's something that I will do more of in the future. So I'm just stamping some images down to match the envelope style. And you can see now as I've lifted those post-it notes that we've got that area for the address. And then I'm just going to colour in this little mailbox and the little snail. Now again, this is an envelope, it's not paper that has been designed to be able to take colouring, so this has been done very fast, not with the same amount of blending and things that I normally do. It's just been about laying a bit of colour down. It's a little bit of interest. It'll maybe make the postman smile, and hopefully the recipient, in amongst all those white and brown envelopes full of bills, that we've got something that's just a little bit more light-hearted and a little bit fun. You would definitely open this first over other ones, wouldn't you? So I think it is a fun idea to maybe consider decorating our envelopes as well before popping them in the post. So this is from a stamp set called Snail Mail. Unfortunately, I don't have this available anymore, so it's a bit naughty of me to use it, but it just seemed too perfect not to. So I'm just adding a little bit of extra detail with pencil for the grass there. And then the same as always, I am just adding a doodly border. It's going to help to frame it and emphasise the details of the letter and the overall envelope. And I just think framing anything makes it look better. So that is the makes for today. So do join us next time where Dawn has challenged us to make a 1-layer card. And also you may enjoy this video here, which will help you to stay more positive about your artwork.